Welcome to the grand final of the Caseking Christmas Cup. We have a Terran versus Zerg. 16 players were invited today. There's 2,500 euros of prize money on the line in total. And up to the top of our first map on Nimbus, we have ForGG, the first player to qualify for the final today after defeating San, after taking down Hyun and also TLO. His opponent, starting to the top left of the map, on the other hand, is none other than Life himself. First parting, there were no obstacles in his path to the final, and against Impact he was able to succeed with a 3-1 victory. I'm Khaldor, with me is Todd, and we're going to present to you the final of this tournament, the best of 5, and Nimbus being map number 1. And I'm super excited for this game, Todd, right now.
So am I, man. This series for me is basically going to be answering a question for me and probably for Life as well. Can he crack the ForGG problem? Back at DreamHack he couldn't. He had 2 series to try, and no, there was just nothing he could do against that ForGG push that we see every single time, with first the drop Marines and the Hellions at the front, and later on with the Hellbats and Cloak Banshees. So he's gonna have another chance here. It's a whole best of 5 that we have ahead of us, and I really hope he does better than last time.
I really love how you phrase that, by the way, the 4GG problem. It's like it's this whole equation that suddenly comes into play, you know, where you need to solve it somehow. And I guess it is for Life. We have him already with a hatch first, starting things off this time. And I mean, we've seen 4GG's play against Zerg. We have him now with a command center first here, but we've seen those games that he played against players like Yoda, against Hyun, against TLO, and he crushed them. It was really amazing to see that. And 4GG just seems to be like completely on a tear right now. Life, on the other hand, pretty amazing tournament by himself too. So this is like one of the dream finals, I feel, that a lot of people were waiting for.
Yeah, Life actually went for the hatch first down the ramp rather than the indoors one, so that he could start quick spreading earlier. Whereas if he takes the other base he couldn't, but you know what? He actually takes both double hatch before pull. He says in this first game, no 4GG, you're not gonna 2-rax me, I'm not gonna die right away. You're probably, or hopefully, gonna go for a CC first, and you know what? 4GG does just that in this game. He went for CC, then gas, then rack. So very mind game heavy openers. And I just want to say about Life, if you think about Life, you don't really think problem solver. That's a funny thing to say because he's so good. He's like an all-around prodigy. But why don't you think that?
Because he's the guy that creates the problem for the other person.
Yeah, exactly. He's not the one who has any problems with anybody usually. Whereas now against 4GG, he's had quite a few.
You know, the one thing that I have to, you brought up Stefano at some point, and I really like that comparison, because with Stefano as well as with someone like Life, you don't really have the idea of him like playing a build. You just feel like they understand that game on a level where they do everything, like it's just like intuition, you know? And for Life, that's always what you have. Like sometimes there's an opponent that really pressures him so much that he loses in the early game so much, and the entire build that he could have practiced, that he could have studied, where he could have copied someone, just like goes down the drain, just like that. There's no chance. But then he just looks at what he has, he looks at what time it is in the game, what his opponent is having at this point, and gets the perfect solution up. And it's just right in your face again. That game against Parting earlier today comes to mind, when he just like lets his expansion die, goes for the Zerglings, moves in. Moves like that. That's just really what puts him on another level, I feel.
And right now, you know what's happened with 4GG beating Life a few times? It really reminds me of what was happening before between Life and San, where San beats Life quite a few times. And there was just, Life couldn't find an answer to San. Then he finally found it and beat him 3 times in a row. Like not even losing a single map. So now, he's facing the same problem against 4GG, where I feel like if Life finds the answer up against the way 4GG is playing, I think he's never going to lose to him as well. But is it going to be this time today here in the Case Cup?
I mean,
Caseking.
Damn it! You're never going to get that right, are you?
I'm fired, aren't I?
Yeah. The thing is, we already know that Life is going to find an answer. It always does. The question is just when. No, but like, stupid Jurassic Park jokes aside, 4GG is exactly that player that you've been talking about. He's that guy that is suddenly in Life's face and also in his head. And if Life loses against him again here, if 4GG pulls that off, there's like this blockage that you might have in your head at some point when you go up against someone, because you feel like no matter what you do, he somehow has your number.
Yeah. I mean, 4GG coming up with his own build here is also a nice story as well, because he's one of the Koreans that's been in Europe for a very long time. Like, he practically counts, or is considered as a European. He's not practicing with the best of the best in Korea. He's practicing with the European community, which is, I mean, let's be honest, supposed to be not as good as the Korean, even though they're still good. So he's
You mean
being able to
even
keep
though
up.
we're not North America?
Yeah. Khaldor. You had to bring it. You had to bring them into this, didn't you? But yeah,
Hey, you started it.
he developed his own style and build that he's playing, and that makes it so interesting. Like, he's proved that you don't have to be practicing in Korea to be one of the best players and go up against beast players like Live.
You know, that's actually a really good point, and I totally love that you brought that up, because there's always like this talk about how you have to be in Korea to really like get on the best level or like get like just improve. And ForGG has been in Europe for such a long time, and he has proven that you don't really need to, that it is possible to just live on a different server, play on a different server your games, and still be on that level. So that's a really good point that you make there.
Yeah, you need to have the sickest work ethic, though.
Yeah.
Like, ForGG, he's the guy. I've been in a team house before with him, because when I visited the Millennium House, he's a guy who every day has his alarm set in the morning, wakes up, starts playing, gets some food, plays some more, and then he just plays throughout the entire day, plays a lot. He has the sickest dedication. Like, he can do that for a month and just keep on going with it and still have the motivation.
That's actually one of the things that where I feel, oh, nice attack here. Look at that sick move by Life, getting the perfect timing down for that third base. But now ForGG is moving in with what we talked about earlier. We have him moving in with Hellbats, we have him on the move also with a few of the Banshees, and this is what Life needs to stop right now. And if you look at the production tab, there is only Zerglings that he has at this point. And Zerglings are not doing all that well against Hellbats.
Yeah, he needs them to tank, though, for the Queens to do the job behind.
Wow, but that is not looking healthy. That's not looking healthy at all. Life is losing a lot here. His infestation pit isn't done just yet. He's able to take down a few of the Hellbats, but the rest of them is just completely toasted. Like, he's losing so much. He lost 50 Zerglings already, and he nearly didn't kill anything. 3 Queens went down as well. The Banshee's doing work. The Hellbats full in Life's face, and so much is dying there. 7 Harvesters have already been eliminated, and ForGG finally being thrown back by his opponent.
I think that was a good defense by Life, though. Like, even though it wasn't perfect, I think he's coming out ahead from this, because he's got 65 drones against 49 SCVs, and especially that cancel on the third CC was massive.
Yeah.
Like, that third CC was literally about to finish.
You know,
I
when
don't
Life
understand why ForGG made it down the ramp.
When Life lost this many Zerglings, I was really afraid he would lose the game there, but you're completely right. With only 7 Harvesters lost and him being on 3 bases, that was absolutely worth it for him. Maybe if you like look at the minerals lost here, it was not a good trade for him, but if you look at the situation in the game, that was definitely a big win for him.
Yeah.
Cancelling the third, pushing that back, and then being in a spot where he can still mine on this level right now, that's great.
And going straight into Swarmhost here, this is basically what Life has had time to reflect from the games at DreamHack, and the solution that he came up with, that he thinks he should play up against the style of ForGG, where he gets a lot of units out of his factory, mostly, you know, the Thors, the Hellbats, with the Banshees in support. Lings get in, I'm not even surprised anymore, but how much can they do?
Yeah, well, they might be able to take maybe those Hellbats down, but not the Thor. We still have an attack going on by ForGG. He's moving in, taking down one of the Swarm Hosts. He has the Banshees over at that third base of Life, the natural I should say, and was able to do some damage there. Harvester killed overall 17, so ForGG definitely trying to put a bit of a dent into the economy of his opponent, taking down the gas now as well. But yeah, well, we have the Terran player retreating. There was another like name that was mentioned earlier, which basically also like shows another player that is able to have like that dedication and that work ethic that you've been talking about, being successful outside Korea. Pold is doing extremely well on the North American server, and he's another one. And one of the things that you pointed out about ForGG that also is correct with Pold is just that work ethic. And I feel like this is one of the things where the Koreans are just a bit ahead of the foreigners, I want to say, that for them, it's not only a game and a passion, but they also accept that, like, esports in general as a job, where you would wake up in the morning and you have like your 8-10 hour day, whichever where you work. And I feel that's a transition that a lot of the foreigners just now start to make in the last like 2 or 3 years.
Totally agree. A big supply block here, by the way, for ForGG. Like, he was stuck on 97 supply for the longest time. Can you check the supply block time?
Yeah, supply block time is at this point 160 seconds for ForGG and only 83 seconds for Life.
That's pretty bad, yeah. Almost 3 minutes here for ForGG in a 14 minutes game, so He's gonna need to be careful. He started making a lot of depot at the time. Didn't have a cooldown supply back then. And the Spire is now going down. So Life is gonna use the same style that Hyun used earlier up against ForGG when they played on merry-go-round with the Swarmos plus the Mutas for mobility. Even though he starts Pathogen Glance now, maybe it's for safety. And he needs to take way more bases, by the way, Life.
We all know how that ended when Hyun was able to pull that comeback off. We have a sick amount of Banshees, by the way. In total, currently on the map, 6 Banshees. Like, that's a task squad that he has that can do just so much damage. But yeah, expansions is something that Life really needs if he wants to play that same style. And he goes into something completely different. A double Spire for him right now. Not only one, but he goes straight into 2. And look at those... Wow, I mean, those Banshees, they just go up against Spore Crawlers. He loses 1, but he starts to attack Spore Crawlers here with Banshees. Like, I don't even know what to say. He lost 3 of them, though, and that's usually why you don't do that. But I feel he gets his money's worth out of it by just denying the mining and also aiming for the lair now.
The Spores need to be moved here. I don't know why Life isn't reacting. He finally could start some units from, I guess, that Spire that he's got. He could make some Mutas to try and shut those down. But right now, the hatchery is taking a lot of damage. He's going to start needing to transfuse it very soon.
Yeah, he has the queen count there for the transfuse. He wants to push those Banshees back, and he finally does. But that was a really nice move by ForGG, putting so much pressure on Life, and I don't think that he expected that at all.
Life has had enough, by the way, with that base. He's just making mass spore now.
Yeah, he's completely fed up with those attacks. He's like, alright, I got the message. I'm gonna get like 10 more Spore Crawlers. Not quite, but we're getting there slowly.
He's getting Infestors rather than getting Mutas. That means those Banshees, they could get on top of the Swarmos and they do just that to try and snipe some of them. They're gonna have to retreat inside of the Spores here. Hellions have a lot of mobility, by the way. ForGG went for like a lot of Hellions attack on those bases.
Yeah.
Maybe he could kill some drones, but keep in mind there is quite a few Queens, plus the Infestor ready to fungal if they did.
And ForGG goes for that mech style here again. The Thor count is increasing. He has a lot of siege tanks as well that will help him against the Locust. Another base for Life down to the bottom left of the map. Also, the Banshees, they move into another map, but there's the fungal. This time, it's hitting nearly all of them. Yeah, and he's getting at least 3 of the Banshees. If he might be able to get the last one as well, because it just ran out of energy. All of the Banshees about to die except for 1, but the Hellions are now moving in as well, trying to kill the Queens. Zerglings are assisting them already, pushing them back and helping the Queens as a bit of a meat shield there. Here come the Locusts, finally pushing them back. Queens, of course, using transfuse energy to be alive there. The fungal not hitting. The Infestor's getting away, though.
And ForGG losing his barracks means he couldn't make any more factories here for a second, so he's having to remake that right now. He was maxed out up until a second ago when he lost a lot of units, but right now he's working on his mix. We have lots of Thors, tanks, and Hellbats. Very good ratio.
And we have, by the way, 34 workers killed by ForGG over the course of the game. Life only eliminated 2 SCVs. And resources lost is still nearly the same. Of course, also thanks to the Swarm Host, which with the Locusts are still extremely cost efficient. More upgrades are being started by Life now. The Hive Tech started, Infestors coming into play. ForGG slowly sieging forward, taking another base at the right side. And the one thing that Life didn't do that we saw from Hyun is get this really ridiculously high Mutalisk count that can then help him to just control the map. He doesn't do that. He goes for a combination with just Swarm Hosts, with Infestors, and yeah, just a bunch of Queens to defend against the Banshees that are not really a problem anymore. Well, and as I say, ForGG starts the Banshee production again.
Double additional command scenario for ForGG, who did a very good job of expanding quickly in this game so far, but he needs to not relax too much with that. Like, he needs to continue expanding, I think, so that he can make sure later on he can transfer SE. Remember his game against Hyun on merry-go-round. It was really the expanding that affected him a lot, as well as playing too passive. And Life is starting to build up that Infestor count very, very nicely. He's getting Burrow as well, so that he can go around stealth, but yeah, not quite the Hyun numbers just yet.
What surprises me is, okay, there's the second attack upgrade. I was just about to say that it surprises me a little bit that Life doesn't utilize that double Spire as he should, considering how fast he added that second Spire to it. But now he started the second attack upgrade, and that's a tech transition in the making that might surprise ForGG completely. Because at this point, he's mainly building siege tanks. He doesn't really have that massively high amount of Thors just yet. It's only 7. So if he doesn't continue that production, a transition into Mutalisk at some point might blindside him.
So many Locusts are gonna get in there and take out all the tanks, aka Sergeant Hammers. One by one, man.
tanks are already down, and you know the player that expands again is actually ForGG. To the right side of the map he adds another command center now, and his mech army is slowly moving in. Life has a lot of worker supply here still, 75, and the army supply therefore as a result is better for the Terran player, who's also looking at 2-2 upgrades for his army right now, starting to really pressure his Zerg opponent.
Khaldor?
Yeah?
I cannot hear you, man.
Well, can you do it again? Well, there we go. Starting to move again into the army and dropping all of those infested Terrans, trying to hit those, and he does a lot of damage there. Really well done by Life with the defense, and ForGG really troubled. Like, he lost so much in that last engagement. Yeah. 14,000 against 11,000, and still Locust pushing their way in to keep that siege tank count low.
Life is getting 2 Ultralisks and about 30 Zerglings. I'm pretty sure that's for sniping some bases, and he's actually playing this very differently than what Hyun did.
Yeah.
Rather than making mutas, he went for infestors and much earlier into ultras.
I think he's gonna go into mutalisks later if he has the resources, because what he's currently doing is just like get the upgrades for air units, even though he doesn't build anything, and he forces ForGG to focus more and more on tanks and not put that many Thors out into the map. And at some point when he feels like that with the ground units he cannot really achieve anything anymore, he's just gonna try to turn things around and invest all of his money into Mutalisk, fly in with 20 to 30 Mutalisk, magic box the remaining Thors with those upgrades that he has, and then try to end the game with that.
Yeah, that's very good point. Or even going to the bases, basically, that have virtually almost no turrets.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's a very good point. Like, the turret count is extremely low. We have 5 missile turrets. That's nothing if you compare it to the ForGG versus Hyun game.
Yeah, that's about a quarter of what there was for one base, basically.
Yeah. Nice save, by the way, on that planetary that we had by ForGG. Is able to just, like, heal up everything.
17 mutas being made now.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Well, those are going to hit one of those bases pretty hard. I'm a bit surprised, though, that he doesn't get more than that. Or, well, he's once again supply blocked at 200. That's probably the case. I still think it would have been better for him to free up some supply and go for 30 right off the bat. He wants to have that snowball, you know? He wants to take down... If he wants to fight the army, then he wants to take down the Thors and then just crush everything else. Yeah. But with 17, there's a very good chance that he just flies into the base.
He's gonna wait, no? He's gonna wait a bit.
Well, he could.
I don't think he wants to lose any of his units, but right now some of the infestors might die. He's gonna use a lot of infested Terran.
Todd, it doesn't matter, he killed the Thors! He just YOLO'd against the Thors, he took the Thors down, he's still at 200 supply. Counter aggression to the bottom left takes down that base, but I don't think he cares. There are the Mutalisks, and there is no anti-air. There's nothing. He has like a couple of missile turrets and 1 Thor, nothing else. There's 8 tanks, there's
Even
nothing.
Thor is out of position. He's like on the right hand side doing absolutely nothing.
Well, that Thor is not going to do anything no matter where he is. Not against 16 Mutalisks on 2-2.
And now the Swarmos proceed to go forward as there is no tanks. The tanks are pulling back. Life in complete control.
Yeah, down to the bottom left, ForGG killed 1 base. He has still those additional Banshees on 3 upgrades, by the way, that are wrecking the base to the left side. But the big story is really just the Mutalisks and the Swarmos just like slowly and steadily moving forward, especially the Swarmos leapfrogging into the vicinity of the Terran players' bases. All of those production structures are exposed, and the GG is dropped as ForGG loses game number 1 in the grand final of the Caseking Christmas Cup to his opponent. Life takes the lead in the best of 5 series. Overgrowth is the second map in the grand final of the Caseking Christmas Cup. Down to the bottom left, we have at this point ForGG down 1 game in the series in the best of 5 here. He lost the initial game against his opponent. Life starting up to the top right. We had him with a great game against the mech style of ForGG on the first map. Really entertaining game there as well. A bit of a reminder what we saw between Hyun and ForGG earlier, even though in the end it was not the exact same strategy, especially not from our Zerg player here. But Life gets the lead in the series. He has played an incredible tournament, but ForGG has proven over and over again how strong he is, and I don't think that Life is going to get away that easily.
Yeah, on this map, like 4G style could be strong, but if, I mean, like obviously if nothing special happens in the mid game when he does his Hellbat Banshee push, like, and both players stabilize, and we go into the same type of game as we saw last time. But this time, when ForGG, I feel like when he's close to maxing out, rather than taking a fourth base, he should just go for a massive attack with like all the supply that he has. Even though there will be Swarmos against him, I think he could do very well, being like well upgraded and all that, like with 2-0, something like 2-0. Whereas now, he's playing very turtly. Like when you play as turtly as he is, you need to take into Ravens, and he's not doing that.
What I really like here is that life actually starts with a spawning pool now. Because at this point, I think that ForGG... I missed the timing of the barracks, but what didn't he even place down the barracks a bit faster than he usually would, so we're going to see a few more Reapers from him. I'm not quite sure, like I just barely missed that, but we have now the expansion started. But I just want to point out that I really like that Life is playing this a bit safer by not going into a hatch first immediately, but adding that spawning pool before he does that. Just so that he's in a position that even if ForGG decides to proxy him or anything, that he's in a spot where he can deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Life here, with the way the first game went, as long as he doesn't get completely surprised early on, as long as he doesn't completely mess up and lose a ton of drones, and I mean that sort of happened, he lost a few here and there, I think it's going to be okay in the later stages of the game. So it's really all about making sure that he doesn't fall behind early on for Life right now.
And that's exactly what he does. He sees the SCV, he attacks that bunker right again, and there's a more SCV, more Zerglings moving in. Like, he needs to delay that for so long if he wants to build that. The Reaper is now starting to move in, but the cancel in the bunker is already there. Of course, against the slow links, the Reaper is going to reign supreme, but like forcing that cancel in the first place was already a victory.
Let's see if ForGG chooses to still stick with it for as long as possible. Quite a few links out early right now. Going up to... okay, no, 3 queens.
With the queen, I don't think he can do anything. The queen is going to snipe the SCV, and then he will have to cancel anyways. So he does that early before he loses the SCV. So the start into the game already pretty decent here for Life. And yeah, we have 2 Reapers, and we have the third, so apparently he really got that earlier, as I said. We have
he wants to go queen hunting, Khaldor.
Excuse me?
He wants to go queen hunting.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't really know if he... will have any chance to do that. There are Zerglings on the map, there's already like 3 queens there. The problem is if you really invest into these Reapers like early on, into 3 of them, you kind of want to do some damage, and he didn't really do anything with them. There's like not a single drone that he killed, there's only 2 Zerglings that he was able to snipe, and that is really a problem. That you invest so much, you cut the mineral income early, because you want to go for gas, and he is losing a lot here, even if he doesn't lose that Reaper yet, just like the gas alone. There is one, gets one.
Life has some pretty sick placement with his queens down the ramp, so ForGG didn't even try to go back down, so otherwise he would have lost his Reaper. So now instead he went into the main. He's been pretty annoying, but I mean, yeah, as you mentioned, like, he's not really achieving too much in terms of damage. Still went into the second gas as he almost always does. He's going into the starport, so yeah, we're gonna see Banshees with Cloak. Nice round.
Yeah, 2 drones, and what does he get for that? Well, 2 Harvesters. 3 Reapers lost and 2 Harvesters killed. That was definitely not worth it for ForGG. 150 gas and 150 minerals lost for that. Life ahead in Harvesters, significantly ahead by the way, with 38 to 26. Great position for Life to start that game.
You know what's the worst about all this? That right now he already knows that the Chris spread's going to be out of control this game because there is so many queens.
That too, and we have a pretty early roach one here for Life as well right now. So he wants to make sure that he's not dying against that style that you've been highlighting the entire weekend now, where we have the Hellions, where we have the Hellbats, and then the Banshees. So he's already just like he's expecting it.
Yeah, I don't think that Life is going to be trying to skip on the Spore Crawlers like Hyun was, though. I think he's going to wait till the last second and try to make them perfectly on time, basically.
The lair tag is already halfway done. We have the evolution chamber on the way, a 3rd base attempt by Life. He's just pulling all the strings, like trying to just like do all the things and macro it up, and still waiting for his opponent's attack. There's already the armory halfway completed. We have the cloak upgrade started, and also the Banshees of course on the way, but this attack, like, Life is expecting it and he wants to meet it with roaches. He's getting them right now. The +1 attack upgrade has started, more queens are building, a Spore Crawler is already on the way even before we have the Banshee attacking here. So he's just like playing this extremely safe.
Yeah, he even got up to the ramp of ForGG and he saw the add-on on the starboard researching cloak, so he knows perfectly what's happening here. And you see the Spore, it finished perfectly on time in the main here for life. He's now getting one in the natural as well. And as long as he defends well.
Yeah, the third base is still pressured, and he wants to go for the queen. He's trying to get the queen there. Oh, and he gets one of them. But the vision is there now. Second queen is taken out, though, so that Banshee is still able to do some damage. And the Hellions actually get into the main base, but only to die there. This is their tomb, this is their grave, and nothing else. They're not going to get too many kills here. At least they shouldn't. There are too many roaches already. They get like 1 or 2 drone kills, but all of the Hellions about to die. 2 more are moving in. God knows why. They should have seen their friends die a painful death already, but they still... Maybe it's solidarity.
And with this attack getting completely shut down, I feel like Life, he's in a great position to drone up as much as he wants. But instead of doing that,
he's just getting units.
He's only making roaches so far.
Yeah,
I'm starting to want... I think he might just go all in.
Yeah, well, it's not even an all-in. He just goes cross-map and does as much damage as he can. I don't even think it's an all-in as long as he does enough damage there. He has still that third base behind it. I'm not sure if he can hold it, but the Queen moves in to take down the Banshee now. So even if he like loses a lot of units there, he will still have those 3 bases. A transfuse would be nice though, like the Queen could at least transfuse the hatch there to make sure.
Without Banshee, you have a lot of work ahead of you.
Yep, we have a few units going into the main base, by the way. The counter-aggression with the Hellions once again, but it's shut down immediately by Life. And at the same time he attacks at the bottom, just look him move in there. We have 68 army supply against 13. ForGG does have nothing. And I think Life solved the ForGG equation.
I think Life, I understand why he didn't want to play a best of 7, man. He only wanted to play 3 maps.
It looks like it, right? I mean, ForGG is... he has no chance there. He's losing everything here. Down to 15 harvesters, down to like 10, and Life just doesn't stop. The Banshees are the only thing that keeps ForGG alive, and Life is just trading. He's just saying, I kill all your harvesters, even with the mules that you have, you won't be able to make up for that, considering that I'm still in possession of 3 bases and having the better count. He goes into Spire, he drones up. The harvester count for ForGG is at 5 now. He has 5 SCVs and his mules, and that's it. And another set of roaches is already moving down to the low ground to snipe even the mule and the 2 remaining SCVs there.
I mean, if you're ForGG here, you really have to wonder, like, what do I do with this guy now? Now that he knows how to play against my style, now that he shuts down my attacks and then goes for the right counter-attacks, or drones up enough to be well ahead in terms of economy early on, it's just going to be so hard for ForGG to beat Life from now.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 1 SCV remaining, and usually we talk oftentimes about that a Terran player can lose like 30, 40 SCVs, and as long as he has 3 CCs, he's fine. But ForGG is like, he's definitely not fine. Life has 1,000 minerals and 1,000 gas, and that means 10 mutalisks. He's building 9 already, now that the Spire is done, and I think the only thing that ForGG is doing is go across the map with the Banshees, then he's going to meet those mutalisks, and he's probably going to leave the game right there. I cannot see him trying to come back into this. It seems impossible.
Yeah, but I mean, even going from here, like going into the next game, like, well, what should ForGG be thinking or even trying anymore? Like, it's gonna be so hard.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, there it is. Like he sees the mutalisks, 10 of them pop out, and immediately GG, as ForGG says, like, okay, this game is over. I have nothing better at home. I cannot do enough damage with the Banshees to make up for that. So that's quit it right there. Leaves the game, and Life is in a 2-0 lead now against ForGG in the grand final. Well, the game is on, and starting to the top right on merry-go-round here in the final, the grand final, the best of 5 of the Caseking Christmas Cup, we have ForGG, the Terran player that has taken down so many strong opponents in this tournament already. But right now, he's going up against an opponent that has taken 2 maps of him. And if Life wins another map, then he is the crown champion and will win 1,000 euro. And Life so far has been looking pretty much unbeatable. What do you think, Todd?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he not only played really well so far against ForGG, I also think he had a harder road to the finals. He beat first, then Parting, then Impact. Whereas ForGG beat TLO, a non-Korean, and then Hyun, and then San.
Yeah, like, especially the game against Parting is something where a lot of people expect, oh wow, we see a proxy, aren't we? ForGG is
for the 2-racks
out on the map, and he drops the proxy. Alright, let's look at this for a second. We have the first Overlord for life moving to the top left, so he's not going to scout anything there. The second Overlord is going all the way up to the top right, so the proxy is in a pretty decent position for ForGG, but life starts with a spawning pool.
Life is too smart, man. Like, he knows that the previous game, it was already kind of likely, like he could have to play against the 2 racks, so he went for the pull first. And then rather than thinking, well, you know what? He didn't go for the 2 racks in game 2, he's not going to do it in game 3. He says, I'm 2 games ahead, I don't need to take any risk, I just want to go to bed, finish this guy off, take my 1,000 euro, and he just goes pull first.
You know, so many people actually like tweeted me, Khaldor, you're such a nice guy, like giving your life 1,000 euros as a Christmas present. And like right now he's in the final with a 2-0 lead, and he gets the perfect build against what ForGG does there. It's incredible. Like, this kid is so damn good, and I really expected this to be a match where ForGG is just like giving life such a hard time and might be even the victor here. But right now we could see a 3-0 incoming.
Yeah, this is. I mean, by all means, like, there is still the execution that needs to be performed here with the defense by Life and the offense by ForGG, but Life opening full first, he's already going to have Zerglings, and this is going to be bad news for ForGG. He's going to have to delay the attack here, assuming he still sticks with it. Some of his SCVs are being pulled, and he's just not looking all that good.
No, he loses too much there. He will have to cancel that bunker too. He already does. So there are the Marines. Life is getting his queens. His natural is nearly done. There comes that second attempt to build a bunker. The Overlord is moving away. He's not going to get sniped either. ForGG is desperate here right now. He has the SCVs pulled. So many Zerglings already. We're having 10 Zerglings in the game. And Life is just building more. The queen on the way down to the low ground. The second queen already building. And the Zerg player just goes for it. Second bunker is being played here. 1 SCV down. Only 2, 3 remaining here at the front. And Life, as long as he doesn't overextend here, he is going to be absolutely fine. ForGG is pressured. Here comes the attempted surround against the Marines. He gets a few of them, takes down the SCVs as well. 1 SCV is still building a bunker. Life should have maybe just used 1 unit to take that down, but I don't think it's going to play a role. Life is playing insane here.
Yeah, Life lost a single map in each of his matches, in each of his previous matches, but here in the finals he says, you know what, I'm done losing maps.
I don't like it.
This is not me. I'm just gonna crush you.
Yeah, I tried it. I don't like it. This losing map thing is not for me.
I mean, he lost a lot of mining time pulling the drones, but the initial hold was convincing enough that now he's gonna have queens to work with. He's got 2 of them in total, and yeah, he can just get enough links to crush those Marines.
I mean, the queens alone are gonna shut that down. The harvester count is 13 to 16 in favor of ForGG. But those Marines are being taken out. Yeah, Harvest, like, resources lost in favor of the Zerg player. He moves back, and now with the queen count that he has, he's starting to saturate his natural now. ForGG is moving back. He's building still Marines, but he's also, like, getting SCVs back at home, and he builds another command center. ForGG is just, like, putting his foot down and saying, like, okay, I'm not done yet. I've started with the double barracks, and I tried, but it failed, but I am not done with this just yet. I have a chance to come back here.
Yeah, but I mean, ideally with this, he would have liked to win right away. Now he's forced in a situation where he doesn't have really that many walkers, really. And he has to take double gas. Like, how is he going to saturate them? He has 10 walkers on minerals. He's going to have so few of them. So few minerals coming in. He has to add double additional barracks in his main so that he can make units there. I don't know, man. This is
it's tricky for sure.
I really don't like this situation.
No, like, not at all. I completely agree there. It's a really, really tough spot for ForGG to be in. But he's at 21 harvesters against 24. The problem is, of course, just that Life is playing this safe with even a Spinecrawler building now. The transfuse energy is there on the queen. Well, there's still a lot of Marines there. He could lose one of the queens, but that Spinecrawler is going to finish any second, and Life not even making the mistake to lose the queen there. Yeah, there's the transfuse, and the Marines are already pushed back, and now Life can just hit that D button and just go straight for the drone production. We have him at 29 already. The larva mechanics are going to kick in now as the queens are injecting again, and he is going to be far ahead in the worker count in just a few seconds.
He actually lost 1 queen, which is unacceptable.
What a noob.
By the Life standards.
This kid is just like crazy. I mean, ForGG has now his own expansion nearly up. He has the command center. We have him on actually like 4 barracks now, and he's getting reactors on 2 of them. So we have him straight going into Stim. It looks like he's just gonna go for a massive amount of bio units at first. There's no tech for him. There's no factory that he can use. No move into a starport. We have him with just a lot of production barracks. We have him with we have his opponent with a 3rd base now starting. And ForGG is at least taking down the creep tumors here. Misses the one active that is active though, which is very annoying.
You think any chance ForGG just YOLO it up? Like no eBay, no factory, just 4x mass units and then go.
The thing is, if he does and Life builds a Baneling Nest, he's doomed. So yeah. I doubt that he's going to do that.
He's doing Marauder heavy at first. Like, I mean, he added on 2 reactors so that he can at least make quite a few Marines, but
yeah.
Out of the 2 barracks that have tech labs, he's making quite a few Marauders.
Like, he isn't adding anything else, so I don't see him here with a factory just yet, but the thing is, if he really wants to attack with this, Life has a halfway decent creep spread already, he's working on it. If he gets a Baneling Nest, then I do not think that anything that is not involving some kind of, like, at least support for the Bioforces has a chance.
And here we go, Baneling Nest is starting now, 22 Zerglings on the way as Life finally saw those Marauders in the middle of the map with the 1 Zergling that he had there, so he's looking to crush this army. I mean, Steam Pack's not even finished, Combat Shield's gonna finish, but he's Marauder heavy, who cares?
I think ForGG is doing the best out of the situation at this point. He's actually not playing this bad, considering how he started in the game with the double barracks. But now he's up against all of those Lings. The Lings are still slow Lings though, but the 3rd base is being attacked here, and that's a pretty sizable force that we have for ForGG. So as long as he's able to just merge those 2 armies that he currently has, the reinforcements that move cross map, I think he can maybe do some damage. But Life is getting ahead. The speed upgrade is nearly kicking in. He's building 22 additional Zerglings. Lair is done.
Oh, ForGG is not warned up back at home. Okay, no, Life's not gonna go for the counter-attack. He's gonna come back here and make sure he can defend the 3rd base. And I mean, with that snipe here and that big chunk of units, ForGG has just donated so many units.
Wow, and he doesn't even get the hatch. Oh my god, like, Life can just go in and transfuse that. And back at home, that's the desperation wall right there.
Does Life even get a Spire here? He could literally just make mass Baneling. He's getting Baneling speed right now. Yeah, I think he might just go for the bust.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he's gonna do. I
don't
think there's any reason for him to prolong this. Life is tired. This is crazy. Yeah, he's probably gonna meet his girlfriend in the morning, and he's like, "Hey guys, I have like a date tomorrow morning. I'm meeting her for breakfast. I really can't stay up all this long." Or maybe his mom is nagging right now, "Go to bed," something like that. Like, he's just...
Numbers, man. It's so many Banelings tasteless.
So many Banelings tasteless! Moving in, busts through the wall, and ForGG desperately trying to somehow defend this. But Life is already in his main base. There are tons of Banelings still. He has still another 10 available, even though he busted through everything already. That natural is completely exposed. ForGG is at 56 overall supply against 78. The Banelings toying around with those SCVs for a second, and this is just looking bad for ForGG. He's gonna lose so many units. He's down to 28 SCVs, but Life has not... well... no, there it is. The GG, a 3-0 victory, a crushing defeat for ForGG. Life is just too damn good. He found a way again and is the victor now at the Caseking Christmas Cup. Wins 1,000 euros. We have 700 euros for ForGG. Amazing play by Life today. ForGG with great games, but in the final, Life just proved too wrong. Congratulations to both players still, and of course especially to our victor here, Life, who did not even drop a single map in the Casemas Christmas Cup finals.